These are the conditions that might be found down here in Patagonia along Sonoita Creek. So typical aquifer that is mostly sand, clay, silt, gravel. The word aquifer more to mean sediments from which you can extract water fairly easily. Like you can put a well in and you'll get some water that you can use. So unconfined aquifer here. Confined aquifer is one that is under pressure. You might think of it as artesian. And typically what'll keep it under pressure is a clay body, because the water just can't move very easily through that. So you might have a mountain over here, water's moving underground towards the valley, and that creates a pressure under here. So when you put a well in, the water level in that well will be higher than the actual level of it in the aquifer. So in this one, we've got a flow field and an unconfined aquifer flowing to a stream. Everything's nice and homogeneous. And then we put in a well, and suddenly it starts drawing water to the area here. So you can see it's going to alter the flow field. And you can actually start to get a cone of depression if it's pulling in more water than can be replaced by the flow. And that can increase to the point where you're actually taking water from your stream into the well. So you can reverse directions. Isotopes can actually tell you in your area whether a well is getting stream water or groundwater. Around the world, there are very few people who can do a really good job with fractured rock aquifers. The reason being that they're incredibly complicated. I won't say never, but it's exceedingly rare that people have information on exactly where the fractures are. So unlike our alluvial aquifer, water is going to be stored in fractures and faults, and it's going to be moving along those. This is a picture of a fairly uniform fractured rock aquifer. What we've got in the Patagonia is super complicated geology. This one actually has a water table drawn. To try and draw a continuous water table in fractured rock is an illusion. If you have a well that is in bedrock and you get water from it, you're getting it from fractures. When I'm trying to figure out what's going on with geology and the flow of water, and you suddenly add a spaghetti diagram to it, it becomes virtually impossible for me to say water is flowing from point A to point B. And part of our problem with trying to verify that, to go into these places can be super dangerous. And when you get limestone or any of the limestone-related minerals, it's very easy to dissolve. You can get caves forming in there, and all bets are off about how water is going to flow. It's as unknowable as mining tunnels, in fact, more unknowable.